Lightworkers, empaths, healers, welcome to Light Guided. I hope these messages find you well. Lisa here, and I'm checking in just to do a mid-month reading, to check in on the energies, see how you all are doing, letting you know I'm thinking of you, and curious to see what will be revealed. So let's take a look at the energies today. Just going to take a moment to ground the energy and to bring my focus forward into this collective. All right. Yes, it's garbage day where I live, so you're going to hear the garbage truck swing by outside of the door here. Ooh, oh my goodness, that one just flew right out of the deck. Oh, what a beautiful energy. Create space. Where can you create space in your life, in your heart, in your spirit? I'm really getting this more as a heart energy, but definitely it relates as well to our physical space as much as our emotional space and our energetic space. I see this, oh, hello, Fig. Fig came to welcome you. And hi, what messages do you have? So, yeah, I feel like that message around internal and emotional space is really important right now. Some of you may be feeling a little, the word claustrophobic comes to mind. Claustrophobic around emotions, claustrophobic around situations around you, and there's this sort of need and desire to break free, to break through out of that energy. And so it's like you're trying to muster all of your strength to expand out of that claustrophobic energy. And when messages like this come forward, what I get is that there's an affirmation from the universe that, in fact, that support is around you to break free. That support is around you to expand your energy. So now more than ever, we're called into holding the light in the midst of difficulty, staying grounded, staying balanced, clearing our own energy. And again, clearing our spaces, clearing what's around us, making sure that we're not holding on to things that don't serve us anymore. So it's a beautiful, beautiful energy, beautiful message. Let's see what we have in the Lightworker Oracle here. A couple different energies want to come out here. Let's see. Anything else, Spirit? Oh my goodness. And then half the deck. Okay, how about just one additional energy here? Anything else? All right. Yes. Master healing. Yes. Yes, yes. So this is an energy for a lot of you around finding it's like you've moved through a ton of layers of healing. You've moved through a ton of issues in your life already. You moved through like healing basic patterns, basic behaviors, basic beliefs. And now there's sort of these core foundational things that are still, that you notice percolate to the surface. Once in a while, these things are triggered and percolating to the surface. So in fact, you may be having the experience where situations around you may be feeling more and more difficult as a way to trigger some of this deeper energy to come forward. This is also for some of you about finding access to knowledge and information, energetic downloads. Hi, Edward. Energetic downloads, tapping into Akashic records for those of you that that resonates with. Not searching, but researching information. So some of you, I'm seeing some of you actually like reading books on certain aspects of healing. And the message that's coming through really strongly here is that part of this journey is tapping into the energetics of that healing and moving away from the mental quality of trying to figure out how to heal. So in other words, we can sometimes be in our minds a lot about how to make something work, about how to figure something out. But healing at an emotional level requires the movement of that emotional energy. So some of you are really being called into that. For others of you, I'm seeing also seeking out teachers, seeking out classes, seeking out communities, seeking out your tribe where healing is happening as a result of that, like being in those environments. And some of you further are also refining your gifts and your skills around offering healing to others, and you're being a healing space to others, which is why now more than ever, right, we are called forward to make sure that we're keeping our own energetics as clear and as clean as possible, for lack of a better word, but creating space so that. So I want to say this other message about healing and being a space of healing for other people. Being a space of healing for other people is not about giving some part of ourselves away. It's not about sacrificing some part of our own well-being for another person. We can hold space well when we are grounded, when we have clear boundaries, when we have love and respect for ourselves. Oftentimes, and I've seen this even in myself at different points in life, but I see this among a lot of people that are very empathic, who might be in considered light workers. We tend to struggle with boundaries a lot. We know this intellectually, but we can see it energetically as well, that where our heart energy might go out to somebody with the intention of being compassionate, what we're actually doing is giving away some part of our energy in that exchange. And so why that's important is because there's nothing wrong with being compassionate or holding compassion for other people. But when we're constantly giving that energy away, we deplete ourselves. And I feel like this is kind of an ongoing message that's just for the times that we're in. We're really in this evolutionary time soulfully around learning how to take care of ourselves in a much deeper and bigger way. And it's really important for the healing of the planet that we are, and for the universe, that we are able to hold our own energy, that we're able to stand true and tall in our own energy. And there is some sense here of what it is to be empowered in our own energy, but this is not about overpowering situations or people, right? It's just about standing in our own energy. So a lot of the healing that we're doing, a lot of the space that we're creating is to allow ourselves to stand in our own energy in the fullest way. And the next energy out is divine talents. So how perfect is that, right? Give me just a moment to really connect in with this energy here. So this message speaks to me on a couple different levels. One, I'm seeing very clearly there are some of you who are very intensely calling in the divine into your experience. You may be calling in new gifts and skills related to, I'm seeing channeling spirit. For some of you, this might be mediumship, connecting in with people who've been deceased. But either way, I'm seeing you calling in the energy of the divine, Some of this is about trying to leverage that the connection with the divine to navigate and manage our own humanity, right? How do I navigate the world and the emotions and the feelings and experiences of being human while also staying connected to this divine energy and knowing that I'm uplifted in that energy even when difficult things are happening. I feel like that's the strongest message here. For some of you, there could be an awakening of divine talent, like not only recognizing your spiritual gifts, but maybe exploring new facets of your own personality, doing art, finding something, nature. Like I'm seeing a lot of you connecting with nature in a way that you haven't before, that is becoming like this very nurturing quality for you. For others of you, I'm getting the energy, it's like in the sacral, so in the sacral chakra, I'm getting this energy of awakening in the sacral chakra. And this is an energy of, it's a manifestation energy, but it's also, there's some elements here for some of you around confidence, and not necessarily confidence in the stereotypical way that we imagine confidence. This is like confidence of trusting the universe, trusting spirit, trusting that thing that's much bigger than yourselves, and really tapping into that. Hi, Edward. There's something here very strong about calling in. It's a calling in of divinity, calling in of something mystical. So I feel like for some of you, it's possible you may also be engaged in like cultivating ritual, ceremony, or routine, things that are helping you stay connected to spirit, stay connected to yourself. And I'm getting the image of like, crystal bowls, Tibetan, the singing bowls, meditation, bringing nature into the fold. There's this very strong quality here of divine feminine and nature. So I get, it kind of makes me think of like pagan, like a very pagan or Wiccan kind of quality. And I'm not very familiar with those particular belief systems, but that's the energy that's coming through here. That's definitely feeling present. So let's see what additional messages Spirit has for you. Yeah. Right? Stepping into that energy of divine power. Like I was saying, it's like empowerment, but in a much deeper, bigger way. This is also a reminder to not allow yourself to be completely overwhelmed by things happening outside of your soul, right? External circumstances. It is so easy as human beings, and I know this firsthand. It is so easy as human beings to get caught up in the momentum of things that are happening outside of us. We as human beings, we rely on our ability to survive in a unique way, right? We have this intellect and we have the ability to grow and change and adapt. We have the ability to be very resilient. We have the ability to look at a situation and find ways to improve upon the circumstance. One day you're making $5 an hour and you realize, wow, I'm not going to survive if I keep doing that. So we adapt and we grow and we seek out ways to improve our survival, improve our situation. So while that's valuable in some ways and important ways to our physical survival, sometimes that attachment to that becomes very neurotic and we become very anxious and we get lost in that. So that's the reminder here, is don't allow those external circumstances to dictate your internal peace or your internal well-being. We have the energy of protection, and I'm called to the fact here that there's lightning in both of these cards, and the energy really reads to me very similarly. with the exception that in this protection energy, this is not just about protecting yourself, right? Not just about having good boundaries. It's part of that. There's something here, protecting something external. So for some of you, there may be the energy that's coming forward right now of wanting to protect things that are external to you. There's nothing wrong with that. This could be wanting to protect the environment, wanting to protect people that you're close to in your life. I'm just realizing my camera's totally crooked here. Sorry about that. But, you know, wanting to protect people in your life, wanting to protect your children, wanting to protect things that are important to you. I get strongly protecting the environment. So some of you may be stepping into that. And the other message is recognizing that through the growth that you've done, through the spiritual work that you've done, the boundaries that you're setting, the ways that you're learning to manage your energy, those become protective factors, right? Those become the things that create shelter for us from these overwhelming situations, these external situations. We can find some internal protection by having clarity in our boundaries, by having a strong sense of who we are in our own energy. And finally, we have the energy of openness. This to me feels like you are at an opening energetically, spiritually, soulfully, whatever you're experiencing right now that externally might seem overwhelming, might seem, you know, out of control. You might feel out of control about it. It's creating, here we go, creating that space. It's creating this opening. So there's something in this that's very much around trusting in the divine plan, even though that might be really hard right now. Trusting in the divine plan. Allow yourself to have whatever feelings you're having about what's happening, but trust in the divine plan. The divine plan is bringing you into this new opening. This is a beginning. This is a new beginning. And even if you can't see it yet through the situations around you, there are new beginnings coming. Let me see if I get let me get clarification on this. What more can you tell us, Spirit, about this new beginning for our light workers, empaths, and, okay. All right, lots of energy here. So this is going to be very different for each of you. Give me just a moment. Yeah, okay. So on the overall, this new beginning, first of all, it's been a really difficult journey, right? Whatever's been happening, there's been grief. It's been very bittersweet. There's been a sense of loss, a sense of pain, a sense of hardship. And that may be related to this energy here. These may be things that you're working on healing at a much deeper level. It's possible for some of you that you've had ongoing issues with grief. And in that, there may be a sense also of like, it's not quite the word deserve, but a sense of like, why, you know, hold on, I'm trying to articulate this. It's like the two sides of a coin. It's like on the one side, life has been so hard and so difficult and so challenging and so painful. And on the other side, there's been these incredible, beautiful gifts that you recognize that have just been profound and have supported you. And so there's a quality of bittersweetness in that. It's like, why to get to this level of consciousness has life had to be so hard? And even now, for many of you, you may still be going through this portal of bittersweetness, this portal of difficulty as you step into the openness, okay? But here's what's coming. I don't know what the Vanity card is. I will have to look at that here. But here's what's coming. What's coming is a sense of growth and recovery, stepping into wisdom. So as you move through this energy, there will be a need and a time for some recovery, for that energy between things, and I've talked about that before. As we're evolving and transforming, there's always the energy between things, the who I once was and who I'm yet to be, and I'm in that in between. So that's kind of speaking to that recovery phase of growth. But here's where you are. You're in a growth period. You're growing. And what I'm seeing here, actually, for some of you, this is a new kind of growth. For many of you, this is a much deeper kind of growth than you've had at other points of your journey. There's new energy here, first of all. So there's something new coming forward in the growth, something that you've never experienced before, something that you've never tapped into before. And that's a new energy coming forward. The other energy that's coming forward is this deeper and deeper sense of rootedness, groundedness, connection to the earth, connection to your purpose, connection to your soul. I'm getting strongly for some of you, there is a beautiful connection to the planet and a desire to work in an environmental capacity in some way, shape, or form, which is beautiful. So some of you are being called into that work now. And wisdom, what they're telling me is that we have access to all kinds of wisdom. All kinds of wisdom. There's the internal wisdom that we connect into, that's like our higher self. And I want to clarify, this is just a way of speaking about wisdom. The way they're showing it to me, it's so much bigger than we even realize. That message comes through often when I'm seeing these images or channeling this energy. It's so much bigger than we know. But in order for us to be able to understand it, digest it, recognize it for ourselves at the human level, it's kind of broken down into these pictures. So what they show me is that you have this internal wisdom, this innate wisdom. Part of that is your physical nature, your physiology has a wisdom, but your spirituality, your soul, your energy has a wisdom as well. So that wisdom taps into multiple levels, or they might say dimensions of wisdom. And there are levels of wisdom that are about survival. There are levels of wisdom about, how we came to be on the planet. Why are we these human beings with consciousness floating on a blue marble through space, right? So there's that kind of wisdom. And that wisdom goes in layers or dimensions. It elevates up to the highest level of wisdom, which is the wisdom of God. For those of you that don't use that term or don't prefer that term, divine intelligence, divine creator, but that is the highest level of wisdom. And that is the energy that is running in through and as everything. And I think there's a recognition here that through our own journeys, what we're ultimately trying to tap into or be conscious of on some kind of regular basis is that ultimate wisdom, that ultimate knowing. And that's where the intuition comes from, right? We can tap into intuitive messages and intuitive experience at all of those different levels of wisdom or dimensions of knowledge or consciousness. And finally, well, we have two cards here. I'm going to wait on this energy of vanity because I'm not quite sure what that is yet. But we have this beautiful energy of service. There's something in this energy that gives me, there's a sense of humility, and I get a little bit of tearfulness around this card, around this energy, offering service. How can we tap into this wisdom at the highest level and use that wisdom to be a space of service in the world without giving away our energy, without violating our own wholeness in some way? I feel like that's kind of the overarching message here, is learning how to tap into that highest level of wisdom and coming from that place as we offer service to the world, to others, to situations, etc. And finally, we have this energy of vanity. And the only thing that's coming to me here, and I struggle with this too, you know, this is something that gets challenging for me at times when I start seeing the world in a certain way through the eyes of this energy. Sometimes it's really hard for me to then be in the world in a way that's not judgmental. Sometimes I can get really caught up in my thoughts about, well, if the energy is all loving, then why is there so much hatefulness in the world? And why don't people just understand how they're being, right? And I have to really practice and effort at not putting that out into the world, because then I'm just contributing to that energy that I don't want to see, right? So I'm wondering if for some of you that may be, if you might relate to some of that as well, like this sense of, yes, you're growing and expanding, and how do you manage and deal with your own sense of judgment, while also, you know, not contributing something negative in the world. So fabulous message. And I feel like I want to pull one additional card here for Lightworkers, and then I'm going to pull a gem card as well. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Come out of persecution and be a space of expression. This energy is very similar to those initial cards that were pulled, where there's this kind of divine, the higher levels of consciousness that are trying to come through for you. And some of you are still sitting on the inside of the door of that. You haven't quite stepped into receiving that full message yet, but you're working your way there. And there's no judgment in that at all, right? We're all on a journey. We're all making our way toward our highest consciousness, at whatever rate we are doing that, in whatever way works best for us. So, but that's what I'm seeing here is like, don't be afraid to step into that energy, into your divine energy. Practice, play with that. They're telling me it's a little bit, for some of you, it's a little bit like stepping into a costume. It feels very unfamiliar, but they're telling me like practice putting on that costume. And they're laughing. They're saying that's just a way of understanding how to try on this energy, is like stepping into a costume. So just step into that energy, try it on, see how it feels. And they're saying this is a little bit like meditation. Like when you're in meditation, you are most closely aligned with that energy. So what would it look like if when you're out of meditation, you're tapping into that same energy and stepping into that same energy? And they're telling me that as you're in that space and you feel that deep groundedness, that deep alignment with soul, with spirit, that your expression will come through effortlessly, like very naturally, that the things that are meant for you to be expressing and sharing in the world, that unique and beautiful part of you, then can come more forward because you're not giving all of yourself away in other situations. Edward agrees. All right, let's get a gem card here. These will be healing stones for our light workers, Spirit. What healing stones for our light workers, please? Healing stones for our light workers. Oh my goodness. All right, healthy boundaries. Let me get a couple more here. Yeah, I mean, very affirming. Oh my gosh, right? I couldn't pull this on purpose, even if I tried. Healthy boundaries, which is the red jasper. So take in the energy of that red jasper. Beautiful. Sunstone, the energy of empowerment. So just take in and absorb the vibration of that sunstone. And finally, we have hematite, the energy of grounding. So just take a moment to tune into that energy that's vibrating from hematite. Beautiful. All right, my dears, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to read for you. I send you much love and blessings, and hang in there, keep shining your light, and if I can be of any support to you on your journey, please feel free to reach out at lightguided.com. I'm offering all services. For those that can afford it, my full rates are there, but for anyone who just needs support, I offer that on a sliding scale by donation. It's my hope to be of service to you on your journey, and I want that to be available to anyone who needs it, whether you can afford it or not. So thank you so much, and much love to you. Bye-bye.